Good morning, everybody. This is Vince with Listings to Leads. Let's see if this thing is working. Okay, I see a few of you on. Good morning, everybody. Vincent Meza, Listings to Leads. This is our onboarding call, so let's give it just a minute while we're waiting for everybody to get in. A couple things. In the comments panel, let me know how long the market is different for some of you in different parts of the country, and I want to make sure I'm addressing everybody's needs here. Also, last week I was mentioning to Scott something that I think is really important. So I talk to realtors every day. And as people are calling here to find out about listings to leads, there's two things that I see, two trends, right? And one is the market's slow and we have to do something to make things work, right? To stay on top of it. And then occasionally, and I would say it's about 10% of the time, we have people sign up who have a lot of listings. They have a lot of, and they're trying to sell them and they're not selling as quickly as they used to. And so they're hearing about our Facebook ad software and other marketing system. And so they're joining us for that. So if you don't mind, I'd like to know, where are you right now? Do you have listings? Do you not have listings? And what do you need? Why are you here with Listings Leads? First of all, thanks for joining me. A little background of what we do. We've been here since 2009, and our goal is to automate marketing for realtors, but also our focus has been from day one of call to actions. There's a lot of companies out there that sound similar to Listings to Leads. There are CRM companies that have a few tools that sound similar to Listings to Leads, but nobody is focused 24/7 capturing leads the way that we are, right? So if we're making a virtual tour, if we're making an e-flyer, if we're designing landing pages or a single property website, everything has call to actions. So you can actually get a lot of leads here, buyer leads or seller leads, right? And that's great. And we're always happy to help our clients do that. But for the past couple of years, I have been focused. You don't have any audio. Okay. Jan, hold on. Let me respond to Jan. No. Oh, David's new. Okay. Jan, how do I respond to this, Jan? Sorry. I'm going to just, Jan, check your audio. Sounds like everybody can hear me. And thank you. I see the responses coming in from all of you. If you want to answer that question, okay, feel free. Like, where are you in your business, right? Because there's a lot going on, right? Interest rates are high. We know that. Buyers are on the fence a lot. We know that. And so where are you? What are you looking for when you come to Listings to Lead? So let me just describe a few things here on the top so we can talk about some of the most exciting parts of the platform today. And one of the big reasons why people are coming to us. One is our Facebook ad software. And I don't know your experience with Facebook ads and Facebook leads. We have a lot of clients who convert those leads. They don't convert every lead, but it's a very fast and low cost way of getting contact information, meaning name, email, and phone number of people who want to buy a home or people who want to sell a home. So that's a big deal here. It has been for years. We make it very easy. A couple clicks, I'll show you how to do that. The other thing, and probably what's getting a lot of attention, is there are a lot of expired listings on the market. Again, interest rates are high. Prices got distorted with COVID. So now there's homes in the whole Southern Belt that are just sitting there and they're expiring. And we have a really great solution to help you turn those expired listings into your listings. And I don't want you to tune me out here. I literally had a conversation with one of our new clients this morning. And she goes, I don't ever want to talk about it. And let me just give you the short story. First of all, there are 3 videos right here of 3 agents who are crushing it with expired. And before you tune it out, let me give you just a short story. Wait 3 months before you reach out to these people and give them a phone call or knock on their door. And your goal should be to get this, which is our listing presentation, in their hands. And I want you to think about that. So the number one thing that I think people are jumping on board for is what's happening with expired market, with expired listings. But what they're realizing is this listing presentation is closing every presentation they go on. Okay, this one says how we're going to sell your expired home, but we actually have a standard one, which is the complete marketing plan to sell your home. This lady down here, this little video, she has been a realtor for a year. Okay, she's been in the Coast Guard for 20 years. She was walking her neighborhood, just walking, just having a walk, and meets a neighbor, and they start chatting, and she says, "Oh, I'm a realtor." And this neighbor says, "I'm thinking of selling." At that point, she was licensed, but honestly, I don't think she was really operating as a realtor for more than 30 days. She signed up with us. That day, I reached out to her. I said, "Hey, what's going on? How can we help you?" We set up a custom listing presentation, which is based on this. We did custom for a single homeowner. She went to that house 2 days later and closed that listing. And if you listen to her call, she'll tell you that even before she could ask, they said, "Where do I sign?" So they didn't ask her what's your commission, nothing. And we'll look at the listing presentation in just a bit. Okay. That is, I think as people who want listings, and I'm going to be showing you some stories from other agents. I think there's one concept that I see with the agents who are doing the most amount of new listings with us. There are a lot of ways to capture seller leads. It could be expireds, it could be FISBOs, it could be open houses, it could be sold listing marketing, right? And there are even more ways than that, but those are like the first four. And if you're doing all of these things, you're going to find yourself with a lot of listing leads. And then if you put it in your mind that you need to get this listing presentation in their hands, whether electronically or in print, like the way I'm holding it, this is further down the funnel, right? These people are getting closer because you had a discussion with them and they're holding on to that. And this basically seals the deal. And I think it's something I hope all of you understand, because when we look at the clients who are really closing a large amount of listings, this guy here, John Summers, when we first interviewed him, which was in November of last year, he said, "I'm going to put 10 of these in my market every week. That's my goal. They're so good. They're getting so many conversations. I'm putting 10 in my market every week. That's 40 a month." He is now turning into a major listing agent and really just becoming a star at his office. So what are the top things that I really want everybody to understand? Our listing presentation, our Facebook ads, expired marketing, our open house marketing, and sold marketing. Okay. If you need buyers, it's going to be Facebook ads. There are other things to do, but nothing else will get you a name, email, and phone number like a Facebook. So, and I want to say something. Okay. Got it. Need leads. We got a few new agents here. Katie has moved from one market to another. So before we jump into all those things of how we're going to do it, let's talk about what happens when you sign up, right? And if a lot of you are new, when you sign up, you're going to put in your name and address. It's going to ask for a credit card. You get 2 free weeks. And then it's just a month-to-month account. You can cancel at any time. But once you put in your credit card, we drop you on a startup wizard. Okay. And that's going to say, where is your picture? And also, let me ask that. Can you hear me okay? Because sometimes I'm going to just turn this off. I don't think it's really necessary that you can see me. Hold on. When this goes with this, it's my talking and the bandwidth on the computer. I start to short out or something. So let's just look at this. Look at the screen. So when you put in your credit card, it's going to say, where's your headshot? What's your phone number? If you need your state number or license number, add it. Then it's going to say, where's your logo? Upload it right here. What color scheme do you have? We have the palettes for branding for all the major companies, and you can do a custom one if you want right here, right? If you need your office phone number, great. If you want your website there, great. Click next. Now here's where it gets important. Connect all your socials. And I want to just hesitate because when you click connect to Facebook, it's going to take you to Facebook and to say, is this you? You, Jan, you, Jordan. And you're going to stop because you're like, no, I don't want to connect to my personal Facebook. And that's not what we're doing. Your business page is connected to your personal page. So you want to connect on the personal. We're only going to show content on the business page. Connect to Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google, and YouTube. We actually create virtual tours automatically with every listing that hits the system, and we put it on our YouTube channel. If you have your own YouTube channel, we'll put it on yours as well if you connect here. This allows us to auto post a couple of landing pages, a few landing pages, and also your listing. So when your listing is just listed, boom, we're going to push it to your socials. When you save an open house, boom, we're going to push it again, open house, right? When it's sold, we're going to push it again. So that's all automated marketing, right? Here, this page, it says social media paid ads. And really, this is Facebook. This is all it is. Connect to Facebook and Instagram. Click there, connect. This allows you to run ads in a couple clicks on Facebook, and I'll show you why you want to do that. Now here, this section here, I kind of want to remove it. But anyway, this is actually a very important part of the platform. And it's a free set and forget area, okay? So if you haven't taken advantage of this in the past, you definitely want to take advantage of it. And I'll tell you why. It puts free content on your social media accounts. Because whether you like social media or not, people love social media. But this content is helping our clients grow Instagram accounts, meaning more people follow you because of our content. On Google, it adds SEO to your Google business page. So even if you don't touch these things, if somebody does a real estate search in your market and you use Google Business and you have our content hitting it, it's going to migrate to page one of Google at not overnight, not even in a couple weeks. It'll take a few months. Here, this page here, this is where you drop in the email address that's in your MLS. That way we can sweep your listings in automatically. Inside the account, if you don't have your own listings, you can click a couple buttons and borrow other people's listings. Of course, you need to ask to do that, right? But we make it technology, it's available. Here is where you connect your CRM. So any lead that you capture, you can just connect your CRM here. And if you don't have your own CRM, use our follow-ups. We have a really powerful email marketing system. It's a follow-up drip campaign. It's great. It's better than most CRMs out there. You can import your reviews from Zillow and Google and Testimonial Tree. And now you're all done, right? You've set up all the automation in your account. So let's talk about where I really want most of you, or if not all of you, to go. You see this tab here, it says resources. This page right here is very useful for you. Down here, live webinars. If you go to leadgenwebinars.com, you're going to land on this page. We're on a live class right now, and you can see that we're going to have more live classes all week. We usually have them 5 days a week. I know there's a holiday coming, so we won't be doing that. Now, remember, I was saying open houses and expireds are a big deal around here. We actually host expired workshops 4 days a week. You can sign up. They're free. They're right here. Okay. We're also doing a class on open houses. I'm going to talk a little bit about open houses, but our open house marketing has been a top source of getting more listings for our clients. And even if you're new to the industry, I know there's somebody here that's new to the industry. I know there's somebody here that also moved from one place to another. So you're in a new market. I would tell you, holding open houses for other agents is going to get your name and your face in these neighborhoods, and it's going to get you more listings. And I'll show you why in a moment. FSBOs are pretty easy to deal with. Some of you work with them and others don't. If you want more listings, I would not leave that stone unturned. And then on Monday, I do a class for top tools for more listings, right? So we'll be talking about all these things I'm talking about and more. So that is right here on the resources page, live webinar. You can also find that at leadgenwebinars.com. Now, every class we do, including this one, is being recorded, okay? And we have our YouTube station over here. And I always like this page. I think if you're trying to grow your business, you need to really understand what we have here. We just have stories going on for years of agents just booming, turning from rookie to teams of 24, people moving from one state to another. starting their own office. They have learned how to use our platform and just create a serious business. Not all of our clients are going to do that. Most of our clients will log in and find one tool, maybe two, and that's as far as they can go, right? But if you're trying to grow your business, you want to get on this page. And I want to recommend a couple of calls to look at. I'm going to reference him. This guy here, Fabrice, is in Miami, okay? And Fabrice signed up with us in December of last year, 2025. I had a call with him in January. We were talking about a team account, okay? If you need a team account, you need to give me a call. And I said, these are the things you got to go do. And he takes off. Don't hear from him again until he gets on one of Scott's calls. And he says, hey, I just closed 16 listings in 2 weeks. This gentleman's in Miami. And I can tell you, he is borrowing listings. You should watch this call. He's borrowing listings from other agents, marketing them with a handful of our tools and running ads. And that's it. And it's so effective that things are just going great, right? This gentleman down here, Leo, where is he? You can see he's closed 10 listings in 10 weeks. So he's closing a listing a week. He has 2 to 4 listing appointments every week, right? And he does 3 things. Let's say 4 things. He works expireds. So he closes those. He has open houses to sell those homes. And he markets homes that are sold. Okay. So expireds get you listing leads, open houses get you listing leads, and sold marketing gets you listing leads. And he uses Facebook ads to kind of market all that. Okay. And that gentleman there, Leo, you remember that my little thing I was showing you, like my listing presentation? Here it is on the side. He puts 80 of these in his market every month. Right? That's a lot of work. For you to find, how many leads do you need to generate to talk to 80 people who are ready to have a listing presentation? Yeah, that's a lot. He does follow up on his leads. Okay. He says that it's like a major deal. He follows up on all his leads, but he's only doing open houses, expireds, and sold market and Facebook ads. Okay. So let's get inside. These are just a couple of examples. There are more and more. You just see them over and over in our mastermind group, and you can get in our mastermind group over here. And if you get in the mastermind group, you will see Fabrice's call right here. And I definitely recommend you get familiar with that. You'll see questions from other agents. You'll see stuff from Scott and myself and just other ideas. Okay. And then Instagram, right? So that's everything. That's where you're going to get more information to help you. All right. So let's talk about the listing presentation first. Okay. And I stress this because not most of you want more listings. Okay. And to get buyers, I'll answer that once I finish showing you how to close more listings. And that is really with our listing presentation. So if I go to listings and I click on listing presentation, you can have it in print. You can have it in Flipbook. And Flipbook means it's an online magazine, right? And as you skip through it, this is basically what we do with every listing that hits our system. But we're not talking about listings to leads here. We're talking about you, your logo, your branding, your colors. And we're saying this is what I do when I'm selling your home. I run ads on Facebook and Instagram. I share it on social media. It doesn't say that Listings to Leads is doing this for free for you. We create a virtual tour and put it on YouTube, right? We create print marketing tools for you, right? And you're conveying this to a homeowner, okay? Got a nearby homeowner letter. We have tools for email. You're going to work your database, your CRM. We create a virtual tour and a single property website for every listing, even if you borrowed that listing. And yes, we create QR codes and everything is mobile optimized, okay? And then we keep going. We say, yeah, I'm going to do coming soon, just listed, open house, all that stuff, right? It's all there. Marketing, just sold. So that in itself is very compelling, okay? But what's even more compelling, and agents literally are just saying, this is a game changer, right? And you need to really, I know that word is bandied about a lot, but it really is when it comes to real estate marketing and getting more listings. Now here, I'm clicking on this. Let me back up. I have in my listings section, I have a canceled, an expired, a FSBO, and a listing presentation. And all four of these have their own custom, unique listing presentation. And let me show you what that looks like. Okay. And so it's the same presentation, but instead of the generic photos, it's a picture, it's the address and name of the homeowner, and it's a picture of their home. So as they're going through this, they're seeing what their home's going to look like on paid advertising. We actually just had a lady come in the mastermind group and said, yeah, this homeowner wants to sell with me. They want to see their home on YouTube. Like this, which we do automatically. It's engaging homeowners. They can understand what's going on here, right? It's not like I'm putting in the MLS and that's all that I'm going to do. This is a much more thorough, complete story. And it is helping clients close listing appointments, whether it's a FSBO, withdrawn, expired, or just a killer listing presentation. On this page, you should stop and you should say, homeowner, why don't you pull out your smartphone? And you're welcome to do this while we're chatting here. Pull out your smartphone and scan that QR code. And what will happen is their home is going to pop up right on their phone. This is before it's even your listing, right? So they already know that you are putting work into this. And basically this is just changing everything for our clients. So you want to get familiar with our listing presentation and how to create a custom one. Okay. You can always email me. I'm going to give you my email now. I actually have a 4-minute video on how to create a custom one. It's very easy. And if you email me at this list at vince@listingstoleads.com, you can say, hey, I'd like that. I want to make that custom listing presentation. If there's anything I can impress upon you, I think to be a very successful realtor in the United States, you need to have a lot of listings. That to me, it's probably one of the major categories, right? Major aspects of real estate business. You need to understand there are a lot of ways to get listing leads. And now you have one of the strongest tools to close those listing leads. If you want to know how to make the custom one, I'll show you here. But if you want it in a 4-minute email, go to add listing, manual. You're going to manually add this listing because it's not really on the MLS yet, right? You're going to either change it to listing presentation or a FSBO or expired. And then we're going to say, great, what's their name? Put their first name, last name, put their address, save and add one photo, and that's it. You are going to have this in about 2 minutes. Okay? That's it. I have a 4-minute video on how to do what I just showed you in about 15 seconds. So that's great. I think everybody, any questions about listing presentation? Here's a question that you haven't asked yet. So let me answer it for you. You can actually get print versions. And I'm going to send you the link right here on where to order those. And once there's a setup fee, I think it's $70, $69, something like that. And we're going to mock it up and we're going to send it to you. So if you want expireds or if you just want standard ones, I recommend having copies of both of these. Order those setups. And then once you like the mock-up that we've given you, so that it's got your logo and everything the way you want it, then we give you a link to order 10, 20, 30, 40, right? And so you've got that link in the comments panel now. Having these at an open house, a regular one, standard, is really a great idea, right? If you're door knocking people, you want to have those, right? If you're meeting expireds, you definitely want those, okay? So I think that's all I can really say about our listing presentation. Let's talk about sold marketing, because that's the thing where I think a lot of agents leave money on the table. They just don't even bother here. And let me show you a couple of things that agents are doing. These are agents who are closing a lot of listings. The simplest thing is running a Facebook ad. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about this. This home is sold. If you are running an ad on a property that's just listed or active or open house, it's going to get buyer leads. It's going to say, hey, this home is for sale. If you want the details, click here. We'll look at that in a minute, but this one's sold. So it says this home is sold, that affects your home value. Click here for your home value. If you want, you can click this text here and you can, if there was something like it sold fast, you could say sold in 5 days, right? 20K above asking, right? That actually is meaningful, right? People will go, wait, that's what? And then they click on this the ad grabs their name, email, and phone number. So I'm going to click on something here just for our education, not because you need to do this. I'm going to click on advanced options and I'm going to click create new form so that you understand why so many of our clients want to be running ads on Facebook with our system. When they click on the ad, this little window pops up and it's like preview. It says, what's your time frame to sell your home? Are you curious what it would sell for right now? Would you like my marketing plan? If you don't like those questions, there's a box over here that says more questions. I don't like that question. Maybe I like, am I curious what my home would sell for right now? Okay, maybe, right? Okay. There's a lot of different options here. Okay. What's the magic number for you? Right. So you can choose the questions that we put here for you. And so when they see the questions, they answer them. And the next page that it automatically goes to is this page. But you see how these fields, full name and email and phone number, are blank. When this is a live ad, these fields are auto-populated by Facebook. So this contact information is highly accurate. Nobody has to type it in. It's just boom, it's there. And that blue button, instead of saying next, would say, yes, I submit my info. So they know they're actually sending you that info. Then this is privacy language. You can even call them here. And then they can go get whatever it was that they wanted. Go see the property, go download this report, go get your home back, right? That's it. Okay. That fact that every lead comes with name, email, and phone number. Let me tell you guys, every one of your accounts has more than 200 tools to capture leads. You will probably not use them all. But I can tell you, nothing gets a name, email, and phone number like a Facebook ad. Just black and white. Okay. So if you're cool converting leads with email or converting leads with just an address, you don't have to use Facebook ad, right? But if for converting leads into business, you think a phone number would help you, you want to lean on this. You want to lean on this Facebook stuff. Let me give you a pro tip. Because when agents get leads from us, especially from Facebook with a phone number, they think, I got to call them, a speed to lead, I got to call them. And you would be disappointed because you could call them 5 seconds after you got that lead, which is 5 seconds after they click the button. And they will still tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. And that's because, I don't know if you're aware, but there are a lot of scams in this world. I get scams in my phone, in my email, in my texts, in my calendar now. I got scam events going into my Google Calendar, right? There's just all over. So if you call them, if they bother to answer the phone, if they don't know you, they're going to get you off the phone. Okay. So text them. Okay. Text them a handful of times. Say, hey, I saw that you saw my ad. Did you get everything you needed? What was this property? I would go over here and grab the virtual tour or the single property website, and I'd have it on my phone. And I would say, hey, I saw you saw my ad. If you want to make sure you got everything, click this link to see all the details on this property. And this is a single property website that is sitting in your account for every listing, right? So you want to make sure, it's taking a minute to pull up here. You want to make sure that they got what they asked for from the ad, right? And then you can say later, maybe in 30 minutes, text them and say, hey, do you live in the area? Are you moving here? Ask them simple questions. Don't write a big paragraph and drop it on anybody's phone. Nobody wants that. Okay. So ask some questions, 5, 6 questions before you call them. Then you can say, hey, I noticed you saw my ad on Facebook. I'm the realtor who ran that. Been trying to help you. Can I answer any questions for you? Maybe you have some more questions, right? That's going to be a better way of converting a lead than just calling them straight away. That is just a basic. Okay. Way too many scams. I'm sure you're aware of it. We could talk all day about that. So for a sold property, Facebook ad, number one thing to do. But you remember how I was mentioning the 2 gentlemen on our YouTube channel? They are both mailing out either postcards or this letter right here that we call the nearby home letter. So let me bring it back here while we're downloading that. You remember the gentleman I mentioned in Miami who's closed 16 listings in 2 weeks? This guy here. So he's calling agents in Miami. Okay. He's got an office in Miami and he's calling agents with like really good looking listings, right? Just beautiful luxury homes. And he asked, can I market them? I have this marketing solution system. This is what I do. And he says, many of them say no. And I just call the next agent. But here's the thing. So once they say yes, he pulls it in the account. And then he starts mailing out this letter, which is auto generated on every listing, right? So it's got a big, beautiful picture of the home, and it's a luxury home. And he mails it around his office in like the first 2 blocks. Okay. And he mails this letter to homeowners in the first 2 blocks to let everybody know, hey, we're working on this. And it might even say listing courtesy whoever, but his signature is all over it, right? Another batch. Oh, I see that kind of messed up. He mails out a whole nother batch and out a wider ring. So the next 2 blocks gets the same letter. And then the third week, the next wider ring, 4, 5, 6 blocks away. He's not marketing anything outside of 3 miles of his office. Okay. Because he lives in Miami, he doesn't want to drive in traffic. But everything he's mailing out is showing luxury properties. You can scan that QR code and go look at the whole single property website on that. We've been doing this since 2009. I have not heard one person tell us I've closed 16 listings in 2 weeks. And he's saying the realtors, the actual listing agents, are not even doing the work that he is doing by mailing out these letters. And he says, so I'm picking up listings from their business. Do you understand what I'm saying here? He doesn't even have his own listings. Now he has his own listings. He's closed 16, right? So that's one of the things that he does. There's another gentleman I mentioned here, down here, Leo. What does he do? He runs sold ads, but he mails postcards. He likes postcards, right? And we've designed postcards for you right here. On the front, it's sold. You can scan. You're going to go land on that web page. It's going to say this is sold that affects your home value. You can turn the card over. It says this affects your home value. You go to that landing page and get your home value. Again, these are ways to get listing leads. There are a lot more ways. Scott's does really big, deep classes. There's an e-flyer. If you got a bunch of leads, again, Fabrice, the guy in Miami, he blasts out our tools, the listings that he borrows. Okay, the listings that he's borrowing from other agents. He is blasting on all of his leads 3 times a week for each listing. Okay. Here, this is one of those tools that he uses. That link and that photograph are going to take you to the single property website to see that home. And this link and that graphic and that link are going to offer you a free home value, all from one email. So he has a big bunch of leads in a CRM. He's borrowing really good looking listings and he's blasting them out 3 times a week on his CRM. Okay. He also has a WhatsApp group of people who follow him and he does like a weekly call and he shares the same listings on those. So these people are all getting familiar with the fact that Fabrice is dealing with beautiful luxury homes. I don't know what your brand is about, but that might fit for you, right? I hope you're tracking with what I'm saying here. So that's sold. That's a sold property. Let's talk about open houses. Okay. How does open houses, and I think if I, asked all of you, do you like open houses? Do you hold them? It'd probably be 50-50. Yes, I do. No, they are horrible. Here is why so many of our clients and our teams hold 2 to 4 open houses every week, because they actually meet more homeowners in the neighborhoods because of these open houses. Okay. And yes, you would run a Facebook ad. Pretty easy. You kind of understand that. Let's go look at that. You click Facebook and Instagram. Everything is done on an open house. The only thing that is not here, which I wish we did have here, is that what time is it? You want it up at the top, right? Saturday, 1 to 4 p.m., right? If people are seeing this ad on mobile, they're only going to see the top 2 lines unless they click on it and they'll see the photos. So I always like to have the time up there. That's to get the buyers in, but to get the homeowners in, there's a nearby homeowner letter, right? And I think we looked at it. Let's go look real quick. It's right here. 1 to 4, right? So you want to print this 100 times and you want to walk around and tell the neighbors, hey, I've got an open house. If you're interested, please come by. 100 people are not going to come to your open house. Two types of people are going to come. People who are thinking of buying that home or people who are thinking of selling their home. And if they want, they can get their home value right there because we've already created an instant home value page for you. And it looks like this. Okay. But hopefully they'll come by and they'll shake your hand. And maybe you've got our listing presentation there. And maybe you've got some of our other tools there to help brand you. Let me show you a couple of those tools. So inside all of your accounts is a tab that says Media Library. And we have a lot of media that you can download and put on your own socials. The vertical ones on the right, that's for TikTok and Instagram, right? But these big ones, they're for YouTube or Facebook, wherever you want. This video right here that says 100 plus marketing plan, this is our listing presentation in a 5-minute commercial, a video commercial. Okay. So if you've taken the time house, now you can show this on a laptop. You can show it on an iPad. You can even grab the remote to the TV in the house if it's a smart TV and point it to YouTube to play this. It's a 5-minute long commercial. So again, I said this at the beginning of the call, but there are a few of you who are new and in new markets. The first thing I would be doing is borrowing listings that are open houses. And some of you, because I talk to agents every day, like some of you are in offices where there's like a whole bunch of listings that they just want agents to sit on them. Grab that listing, pull it in, get that nearby homeowner, and go out there and meet the homeowners in these neighborhoods, especially if it's the neighborhood that you want to own and dominate yourself. Okay. Because Fabrice would tell you many of these agents who have listings, they're not going to bother doing all this work that I'm describing to you. But if you're trying to grow a business, you definitely want to be doing that. Okay. So that's right here, 100 plus marketing. You can just point any YouTube app to that. You can go home to your own TV and go look at that and it'll be sitting there. And that's one of those things that you want in the open house. I'm going to show you one more thing and we'll quit talking about open house. Hopefully you've got like some sort of box of tools that you take to your open houses. I'm going to add some tools to that. You each have 80 PDF guides in your account, 83 now. Okay. 40 for buyers, 40 for sellers. And there are all kinds of different topics, right? Just all kinds of different topics. So you want to go through here and decide what's the most important one in your market. What are the topics? Get 3 for buyers and 3 for sellers and go down here to print flyers. And this is a print flyer where somebody can actually download this guide for free. This guide is on downsizing, right? So if you're in a market where people maybe, that's what's going on, print this up, going to have your colors, your logo, and print up 5 other flyers. And then go down to Staples or Office Depot and get those really good looking clear plastic tabletop stands and put one in the dining room, put a different one in the master bedroom, put a different one in the laundry room. So as people are walking through this house, they are recognizing you and getting familiar with you and your brand and your logo. Okay. And yes, they can download that right there. They'd have to give you their name and email, but that's what would happen. They could download it. But really, we want you to get branded. We want these conversations to begin with you. And that's exactly what our clients are telling us. When they hold these open houses, they're having more conversations with homeowners than they've ever had. That's what we want to see happen for you. Okay. So that's a little bit about open houses. As I said, Scott's doing a class, I think on Wednesday on open houses. I highly recommend that for every one of you. Okay. Let's go back to listings. And what do we've talked about the listing presentation. We've talked about Facebook. We've talked about open houses and sold marketing. Let's talk a little bit, just a little bit. Like I said, Scott does classes on expired marketing. Okay. And if you're in a state where that is becoming a deal, or if you're in a market where that's becoming a deal, you do not want to leave that money on the table. Okay. Because it's frankly very easy. And I know expireds, I can tell from just talking to so many agents, like it scares people. It's like this lady this morning said, I don't cold call people. That's not me. I said, no worries, no worries. So if you want to work expires, you should shoot me an email because I have the recordings of these three agents. What we're looking at here is snippets, right? What do you call it? Sound bites, right? But they all have 10, 15-minute interviews that we did with them. And I'm going to give you the story so that you can think about this. This gentleman here, John Summers, he's only been a realtor for just over 2 years. He waits 3 months after they expire and he calls them and he says something like, "Hey, my name is John Summers, a realtor here in the area. And I noticed you were trying to sell your home. And I would just like to introduce myself to you. Okay. I would like to just come by and shake your hand so we can shake you, get to know each other. Would that be okay?" He says 2 out of 5 people respond saying yes. So he's not calling them on day one. He's waiting 3 months and making sure they haven't relisted. And he calls them. And then what does he do? He puts that expired marketing booklet in their hand. You now have a link to order that booklet. Okay. The guy right underneath him, Scott Murray, he's with EXP. Okay. 20 years in the business. And he likes to door knock. And he says, I know it's not the most efficient, but he likes to do it. He's good at it. And he door knocks. And the video that he did, he kind of tells you how he makes them feel comfortable and how he makes them work, right? And how he makes door knocking work. Now, while it's inefficient, because he's walking from door to door, in 3 days, he put $2.7 million of listings in his pipeline of people who are really interested in selling their home. Okay. Again, he waited 3 months. He's not doing it on the first day or the first week, right? He's literally just going out and using this listing presentation again. Now, the third one, this young lady here, I think I mentioned, I'm just repeat it so you guys understand this. She's 4 years out of high school. She's still in college. Okay. And she doesn't know much better because she hasn't been a realtor for too long. So she's calling homeowners on day one, right? Day one of an expiration, which is really when the rookies are calling, when the young people in offices are saying, hey, go call those people, right? The managers are go call. Most seasoned professionals know, look, that's going to be painful. I'm not doing that. But she does it. She leaves 2 voice messages. And of course, the homeowners don't respond. And then she texts them once and says, would you like to see my listing presentation? I know you're trying to sell your home. And they don't respond. And then she goes and creates a custom listing presentation like the one I created and showed you how to create earlier. And she texts that to them. It says, if you're thinking of selling, please click this link. This is how I do it. And these people ignored her voicemail, ignored her text, and they see their home built in this thing. And she picks up 4 listings in 6 weeks. Okay. I would be looking at what these 3 individuals are doing and shaping that into your approach, the way that you want to approach expired. Now, you're not all in an area where expireds are happening. Okay. So I understand that. But if they are happening, you want to turn those into your business. Okay. So let's go back to ads and let's talk about, because a lot of what I've been talking about today is how to get listings, right? And how to use a listing presentation to convert that, right? Let's be real clear with each other about what do you do when you have listings and they're not selling, right? And we have clients from all over the country, Alaska, the Caribbean, and they have different needs, right? And what I want to make sure that you understand is like this Facebook ad software, it's really solid. So I have a home that's for sale, it's active. And if you have listings that you're trying to sell, you want to make sure that you click on Facebook here. Okay. That's like the first thing you want to do because it's the most powerful thing you can do. And an ad will be seen by 1,000 to 2,000 people. Okay. So when the wheel's spinning here, it means we're pulling up Facebook's ad software. So I don't really know your experience with Facebook ads. I'm sure you've heard they're great and you might have experience that they're not so great. It's going to come with a name, email, and phone number. And most agents don't know how to do that, right? If you do it inside of Facebook, that option is hidden away. You would have to be trained really well to do that. Okay. So let me show you a couple things because I see this all the time. When your listings hit our system automatically, all these photos come in. Okay. All these photos come in because your photographer took 50 photos, 60 photos, 30 photos, right? And the first 5 or 6 are of the front of the house. So when an agent runs an ad, the first images that they see here are all of the front of the house. And let me tell you, that's not really helping you out too much. What would help you out is if they can see the front of the house and if they can see the kitchen and usually a living room, or if there's a swimming pool, if you're in Texas or Arizona or Florida, having a swimming pool really front and center on the ad can be really helpful. So how do you do that? First of all, go over here to change template and make sure you got this template here, which has the horizontal thing. I'm going to click here. The second one has not only the horizontal picture, but it also has my logo up there. And so my logo is kind of in the background, but I like that. But you see how this image is of the bedroom. What if I want to change it? I click this pencil and there's a little image. It says update image here on the little button there. And I go grab a picture of the living room or whatever else I want to put, maybe the swimming pool, right? That's a really simple thing to do, but honestly, I really recommend it. Oh, I don't have a picture of living room in here. But that's how you change the photos. And then when you apply and save, that will always be there. So you don't have to do it every time, but the first time you run the ad, this is key. Now, there's another really important thing that I want you to understand about our Facebook ad software. So let me ask, who here, just give me a yes or no, who here is in Arizona, Texas, and Florida? Because this definitely is a big thing that goes on here. And I see, so, oh yeah, David's over in Sarasota and Jordan, right? So when you're in those states, there's a bit of some markets are really challenging and more challenging than others, right? Florida has a big inventory situation coming on. There are still high interest rates. And yes, COVID drove price sales up, right? So now you got to deal with the digestion of getting that out. And we have a lot of clients signing up from Arizona, Texas, and Florida with just a stack of listings. And they're like, these things are not moving. I need to sell them. So this is what I tell them right here. If that home was in Sarasota or if it was in Phoenix, it would say for sale in Phoenix, right? And the location would say for sale, or it'd say Phoenix, Arizona, or it would say Tampa or whatever. And you X this out. So you remove that location and try something like this, right? New York City, or something like this, Chicago, or Los Angeles, right? There are a lot of people that move from those states to these states for decades. I have a client who signed up probably 2 weeks ago. She has a really beautiful home for sale in Florida, waterfront, and it's got a pool, really nice. It's over $1 million, right? And I definitely recommend this for anything over $1 million in these market. And she says, I need to sell this home. So she ran a local ad. I helped her do it. We ran this local ad around the home. I think it was Fort Lauderdale. And in 5 minutes after that, we ran the same exact ad in New York City. Okay. So I want you to understand when we look at ads, there's a cost per lead. Okay. So when you run a $35 ad, Facebook will approve it. You'll get an email saying, oh, this is approved, right? This ad is now running. It's live. But you'll see a number down here that says CPL, and that's the cost per lead. Okay. And there's a CPL, $3.03 per lead, $6.28. So this lady I was describing in Florida, we ran an ad and her ads in Florida showing in the Florida market were like over $9 each, which is frankly too high. The average cost of a buyer lead in the United States is $3.50. So if they're charging you $10, turn off the ad. There's a button right here. You can turn it off and on. Okay. But the ads in New York City, and this kind of blew me away, those leads cost $2.12, which is crazy to me because everything is more expensive in New York, right? You buy a cup of coffee, it's $8, right? It's just everything is more expensive there. But there is a phenomena going on in Florida, which is there's a lot of inventory building up. Okay, Katie. There's a lot of inventory building up and there's a lot of competition. So more agents are running ads locally in Florida. Okay. And that's why the lead cost is going up inside Florida. Now, I don't know your lead cost. It's different across the country. And every time you run an ad, the CPL is going to be different. Okay. Just it's Facebook. You can ask them, why is it different? But if you have properties, I would be running, and especially if you have properties that you need to sell, I would be running 50 or 75 or $100 ads on those homes. And I would also make sure you're doing that in cities like LA, Chicago, or New York. Okay. Any questions about what I just described there? When we look at our listings, we look at our listing marketing, we have a lot of tools to market your listing. We create all of them automatically. We even email them to you and we put some of them on social media automatically for you. Okay. But if you need a name, email, and phone number of people who are interested in buying, you need to lean on Facebook. Okay. You need to lean on Facebook paid ads because that's where it's happening. So I hope that helps. There's all these other things here. If you've got a deep database and you're trying to sell homes, grab that e-flyer and blast it on your leads. You don't know where they are at that point, right? But that's the thing. We've talked a lot about how to get listings here. We've got a whole lot of landing pages. If you want to use those are helpful as well. But I will point out, let's talk about that, right? A lot of agents, I see it happen every once in a while. They log in, they sign up, they don't take any training, and they see this page and they go, click, I want to market that. I want more listings. I want more listings. It's obvious, right? I'm here on Facebook and I'm going to click create ad. They type in their favorite city, right? And sometimes it works and sometimes they're disappointed. Let me tell you something about this kind of ad. So remember when I said Facebook sets the price per lead? And they do. On every ad, they set the price of what you're going to pay per lead. So even if you're spending $50 at the lifetime of this ad, that's the max you can spend. They're going to say that we're going to charge you $15 a lead or $20 a lead or $25 a lead. This is the most expensive kind of ad to run to get seller leads. Okay. If you run an ad on a home that is sold, you're going to get seller leads. They both say this, if you like your home value, click here for your home value. But instead of paying $20 or $15 a lead, if I market a sold property, leads cost $7 to $8 each, under $10 each with name, email, and phone number. Okay. So I want you to understand that landing page ads, if you don't have your own listings, you might think, oh, I'm going to go do a landing page, and great. But the cost of those leads is more. So it's in your interest to borrow a listing that is sold or borrow a listing that is for sale or borrow a listing that is open house, right? And run ads on those because you're going to get cheap buyer leads that way and you're going to get cheap seller leads that way. That's my message for everybody. Are there any questions? I know we lost Katie. Anything that I haven't answered for you? While we're still here, and I'm going to wait for questions here, I'm going to ask a quick favor. We always want to get feedback to make sure that we're helping you understand what you have available here. So I think there's 5 questions here. If you wouldn't mind clicking on this link and answering these questions, that we'd appreciate it. We just want to make sure that we're helping you and not just wasting your time here. Okay. If you need a team account, you can find me on our webpage, right? Go to Office and Teams. You'll see my contact information. I'm Vince at Listings to Leads. And you can schedule a demo here. If you've got questions, you can always reach out to me. We've got a great support team as well. I don't want to not stress that enough. Our clients actually routinely tell us how much they appreciate our support team. Yeah, David, let me answer that question for you. So I have mentioned a few times that you can borrow a listing. And so, David, you definitely want to check with your manager and find out, maybe your MLS, like, what are the rules for me to do that? Because in a few cases, you can just borrow them as if you're in the MLS. But most MLSs want you to at least have an email, a written, hey, can I borrow your listing? And they can say yes. Most people will call an agent and ask. The guy that I was mentioning, Fabrice in Miami, he's calling. And if he needs a written thing, he'll probably send an email. But if the answer is yes, then you go to the listings page and you click add listing and you click grab listing and you type in the zip code and you type in the MLS ID because it's an active listing. You can find it on Zillow and you say, that's not my listing, and you grab it. And this is going to tell you, hey, we can't grab it, right? Because that was a fake number. And if you get this message, this option right here is saying, this will ask the support team, our support team, to pull it in for you with all the photographs, right? And just get them to pull it in, put in the address, MLS ID, what status is it, and boom, submit request. So that's how you borrow a listing. And once you've borrowed it, it's going to be sitting right here. And David, I'm just being repetitive here. If you are an agent who is in a new market, I would say the first thing I would be doing is holding 2 open houses every week so that your name gets out in that market, right? From your ads and your nearby homeowner letters and you knocking on doors. That's it, right? And then I would be borrowing a home that's sold in that market where you want. And I would be marketing a home that is active so that you have a couple of ads running as often as you can, right? And let me say this, and I can't remember, David, are you the new agent? Is that there's a lot of people typing in here. I will talk a little bit about Facebook ads and what I'm describing here, right? If you're borrowing listings, if you're a new agent, we really recommend a minimum budget. I recommend a minimum budget of $200 a month. And that means one $50 ad every week on Facebook. Okay. Here's why. If you're borrowing listings, your business page, because it's going to say sponsored by your business page, is going to be seen somewhere between 5 to 10,000 times every month. And if you're a new agent or you're new to a market, who knows you're a realtor in that market? Probably nobody, right? A handful of friends. So Facebook is awesome for building brand. And for that same $200 a month, you're going to wind up with somewhere from 50 to maybe 100 leads with name, email, and phone number. So that's what I would be doing, right? And I'm going to separate it. I'm going to finish the call. And if you have questions, please put it in there. When we talk about capturing leads, we're talking about capturing contact information, right? And I don't know your experience with capturing leads, but there's a whole nother can of worms about converting leads. And that's much more difficult for the average realtor. So when we talk about expireds and when we talk about open houses, we're getting away from leads and we're getting into handshakes and meeting people. And you're going to do business faster with people who you have met than people who you got their email. Okay. That's why we're real proponents of open house. If any of you are trying to open or grow your business, I would look at our open house class. I would be putting that in my business. I would be working on expireds and leveraging our Facebook ad software and our listings presentation. I hope this helped everybody today. Have a great week. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in there. This call is being recorded and it will be up in our YouTube channel later today. I don't see any more questions. So thanks so much, everybody. Enjoy the summer. Bye-bye.